Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Sunday edition of Today in Sports Betting. Taking a look at both of the NFL playoff games. Scotty, I got playoff fever. How about you?
Yeah, because you know that the teams I root for obviously in the playoffs. So, not everyone here on this say show has teams that are still relevant for NFL conversation, even though my Jets did end up hiring a head coach yesterday, but you still have a team that's competing for another Super Bowl. So, yeah, I think you have a little bit more skin in the game, so to speak, for this weekend.
I do. I do have a little more skin in the game. And by the way, I checked right before the show, Scott. There is still a little bit of room on the Kansas City Chiefs bandwagon if you wanted to hop aboard, buddy.
But I don't root against the Chiefs. I think Mahomes is the most talented quarterback I've seen since Prime Rodgers. So I'm not. I still actively watch the Chiefs play, just rooting for Mahomes. But I'm not a front runner. That's not how I roll. So I appreciate the offer, but you can give it to somebody else.
All right. Well, yeah, as a Jets and Cowboys fan, you're definitely not a front runner. No question about that.
Definitely not. I've had a lot of pain over the last my whole life. The last couple of my whole life.
Do you remember the Jets making the playoffs?
I remember the AFC title games.
I didn't know if you did or not. What was that, 15 years ago?
It was around '09, so it was about 10 or 11 years ago.
Okay. So, yeah, all right. You'd have been, yeah, prime
About 12
team,
at the time.
football age. Yeah, all right.
About 12.
The Chargers owned them.
Wasn't the Chargers.
The Chargers beat them in the title game, right? 1 year.
No.
Wasn't?
Jets beat the Chargers. That was a Sean Green 45 carry game. No,
Oh,
they lost to Peyton Manning, and then they lost to Roethlisberger.
yeah, heartbreaker.
Both those games were close. Didn't matter, but still.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah, good times.
All right, so let's talk about my Kansas City Chiefs here. Starting their campaign to run it back, Scott. That's what we see all around the city here. Run it back, buddy.
You a fan of the slogan or no?
Boy, it's I'm a fan of the slogan if we make it to the Super Bowl. It's one of those things that'll look really bad if the Chiefs are to go out early, and yeah, we'll see what happens there. How about Chiefs minus 10, 57.5 as the total here. Now I'm going to tell you right off the top, I've got a play on the side for my premium players, but I am more than willing to discuss the total and how this one breaks down. So why don't you start us off, Scott? Who do you like here in this one?
So for this one, first of all, I think the number is pretty sharp at 10. I thought it would honestly drop. I thought it would be around 9.5 or 9, maybe even 8 at some point. But it seems like the number has been holding steady. Even though Kansas City's been a money-burning machine over the last 2 months because they win games and never cover, I'm going to lean to Kansas City here. I'm not fully thrilled by it, but a part of me thinks that Cleveland already won its Super Bowl. A part of me thinks that Cleveland was so unlikely to win that game against his bitter rival, which is a little bit of a sweetener since it was his rival. Are they 1-17 in Heinz Field over the last 18?
Yeah.
This team had a no head coach. We're missing about 3 secondary pieces, a couple offensive linemen. Nobody thought they were going to win the game, and they ended up winning the game. I think a part of the miraculous win, whatever you want to talk about, whether it was the Vikings a couple of years ago with the Stephon Diggs catch, stuff like that. I don't know if it's that dramatic, but you win a game like that, it's very tough to duplicate that type of fire and excitement for the second game. It wouldn't surprise me to see Cleveland get blown out here. I just wouldn't shock me because if Cleveland, is riding high, this team's going to be celebrating the fact that they finally broke a curse for this city and whatever.
Right.
It wouldn't surprise me if in the middle of the champagne celebrations, Kansas City comes out and just says, by the way, there's still another 3 rounds to go, right? And Kansas City just beats them by 2 touchdowns. I'll lean Kansas City. Not thrilled by it, but Cleveland's defense last week, I know it was a lot of prevent. Garbage. I'll take the Chiefs.
All right. Yeah, this is a Chiefs team that's failed to cover 7 of their last 8, Scott.
Yep, it's not pretty.
So
I know what I'm getting myself into.
It's a different situation. This is a team that knows how to get up for big games. And they kind of To me, the second half of the Chiefs season kind of had a Lakers feel to it.
Mm,
Where they're just kind of going through the motions, waiting for the playoffs to begin.
that's how
So
I feel.
now we're going to see. Now we're going to see if they can turn it on. Personally, I think we're going to see a little more defense than they're getting credit for, Scott. Um, I think the Browns are going to want to run the ball. And there's an interesting article in the Athletic. I don't know if you take the Athletic or not, but
I know. I've heard good things though.
yeah, very good writing. And of course, it's directionalized. It's regionalized to your area, and very good article about the theory about the way to beat the Chiefs is to keep the ball away from Mahomes and get involved in a low scoring affair, and that's not necessarily the case. You're going to have to borrow one of your things. You're going
Score
to have
more
to
points than the other team.
you're going to have to score more points than the other team. Yes, you're going to have to go toe to toe with this Kansas City Chiefs team. But having said that, I don't think that's what Cleveland's going to do. I think Cleveland has this dual-headed rushing attack. I think they are going to run the ball. I think they're going to try to control the clock. And whether they're successful or not, I don't know. But I do like the fact that I think it's going to give Mahomes and company less opportunities to score. And I'll play the under 57.5. I think that total is a little too high. I think that should be somewhere closer to 54.
Well, let me ask you, since you are in the area, of course, of that game, how's the weather supposed to look for Sunday?
It's going to be okay. It's going to be cold. It's going to be high 30s, low 40s. But all the problems that we're having like today are going to be cleared out of there. So,
Okay, so similar to the Pittsburgh weather for last game.
yeah, clear and cold, not a lot of wind. As the old timers might say, Scott, gonna be good football weather, buddy. Gonna be good football weather. So, the weather should not play a factor, obviously, in the late game, especially. But it's not going to play much of a factor in this one either. So, should be a pretty good track for Mahomes, and we'll see what happens. I obviously am looking forward to this game as a fan, but I'm also looking forward to it as just a fan of football. Should be a good game. Cleveland's a great story. I like this team a lot. They're probably the team that I rooted for the second most this season. So we'll see what happens. I know they're going to be fired up for it, and everybody's pretty healthy. That's kind of an unusual situation. I don't know. I haven't seen the latest if the Chiefs are going to get.
I heard Hilaire was supposed to be. They had a shot at playing.
He's been upgraded to questionable.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the way that sets up. The other factor here, Scott, it's going to be Willie Gay, and he's kind of a linebacker that you wouldn't really call him second string. He's kind of a 1B kind of guy, and he could be critical in covering the tight ends coming for Cleveland, because if they can match up the tight ends with Daniel Sorensen, I think that's absolutely an advantage for Cleveland. Sorensen is a guy that is a good safety. He's a good hard hitter, but he's more of a line of scrimmage kind of guy as opposed to a coverage guy. So there could be an advantage there as far as being able to scheme for getting him in some one-on-one matchups. So, but it looks like, looking up, it looks like everybody is going to be able to is going to be able to go for the Chiefs. They're missing Mitchell Schwartz. They're really good right tackle, but the problem with Schwartz is he's got a back problem, and it really affected him pretty much the entire season. As he had been dreadful. He gave up no pressures last year, Scott, and this year he'd already given up like 4 or 5 sacks. So I actually like Remmers playing for him at the right tackle spot. Everybody else looks healthy for the Chiefs. As far as the Browns go, they're in pretty good shape too. They're getting Batanio back from the COVID list. getting Hodge back, getting Ward back. So they are getting a bunch of people back off the COVID-19 list. So that's a good thing. What's your best play on this game?
Well, first of all, to mention my thoughts on the side, it's a very high total for a playoff game, so I'm a little bit concerned by that. Having said that, my bold call for the weekend, or whatever you want to call it, I think Kansas City scores 40.
Okay.
So for me, I'm going to go with the over. Cleveland's defense, I've said all year long, is inflated because of a couple of really bad weather games. And last week, they gave up 500 passing yards to Big Ben, who can't move. I know it was all prevent. I get it. I know that there was a lot of game flow aspects to it, but it was just up and down the field. Like, it was just bad. I think Kansas City is going to kill this team offensively. I think that the question is, can Cleveland keep up by scoring enough points to keep this game close? Either way, I'm going to lean to Kansas City in the over because I just think Kansas City is going to drop the beat down from Mahomes. I think he'll throw for 4 touchdowns and whatever.
Okay. All right. Very good. Like I said, I do have a premium on the side, but I like the under. I'm gonna have a direct fade there.
Does that count as a bold call to say that the best offense in all football is going to score 40-plus points? I don't know if that's a bold call or not.
In the playoffs against Cleveland, maybe. I mean, it's bold-ish.
I think they will.
So. A bold call would be taking Cleveland plus 380 on the money line.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
That's a bold call.
Yeah, I'm not doing that, but I do like the Chiefs offense to have a lot of success in this matchup.
All right, very good. All right, sir. Let's go on to the Sunday night affair, the primetime game, if you will. By the way, did they put the right game in primetime here, Scott?
I think you kind of have to say so because it's Breeze versus Brady. Yeah. Even though it's probably 4 years after you would have wanted it, but still.
It was like
of course, it was impossible because you had Brady in the East, but you know what I mean.
It was like when they finally had Pacquiao Mayweather.
Yeah.
4 years too late.
Personally, Brady still looks close. It's Breeze who's fallen off a cliff. But
personally, I'd rather see the rematch of perhaps the greatest college performance in history, which was Mahomes and Baker Mayfield.
That's fair.
Mahomes threw for, I think, 750 that day.
He had about 812 total yards.
88 pass attempts, Scott. 88 pass attempts.
Jeez. And they lost.
That's right.
Shout out to Cliff Kingsbury.
Fall upwards, Cliff. Fall upwards. All right. So this is the Buccaneers 3-point underdog. 52 is the number here. Going to be played, obviously, inside the Super Duper Dome down there in New Orleans. Who you got, buddy?
So for this one, line's most available at 3, which I think is perfectly sharp. A little bit of money on the over, going from 51 to 52. I'll start out with my thoughts on the side here. New Orleans has killed Tampa twice. I'm leaning Tampa plus the points. It's nothing for what I've seen in the regular season matchup, to tell you that much. But I do like the way Tampa's offense has been clicking. Antonio Brown has been phenomenal ever since he got fully back into game shape and everything like that. Mike Evans' status is important. I know that he said he's feeling a lot better after being a slight factor in the Washington game. Not really, but he had one big catch in that game. But still, Lattimore is going to be on him. Lattimore shuts him down every time they play anyway. I just don't think anyone in New Orleans can guard Antonio Brown. So I think Antonio Brown's going to go nuts. I think Brady should play well. I have an issue with New Orleans because I don't think their offense is very good. It's a lot of nickel and diming check down stuff. So I think Tampa can hang around. I think they might win the game. But I'll take the +3 on a slight lean. However, I do like the over at 52. I think that even though New Orleans, everything I just said, roasting their offense is a bunch of check down stuff, Tampa Bay's defense, very, very overrated. And I know that Devin White didn't play last week. He's supposed to come back, which is a big addition to the linebacking core. But Todd Bowles blitzes, and that's basically it. That's kind of his one-trick pony. And I think that with Michael Thomas back, who looked really good against the Bears last week, still have Emmanuel Sanders, still have a lot of good weapons, and Kamara, of course, who's a matchup nightmare for linebackers. I could see Breeze having success, moving the ball down as he did in the first 2 games. I can see Brady having success. So for that reason, I'll lean to the over as well.
Let me ask you, who's going to run the ball for Tampa, Scott?
And that's why I like the over.
Yeah, Yeah, Shady McCoy's questionable. Probably leaning towards. Sounds like he's leaning towards out.
He barely plays anyway. It's mostly going to be between Jones, if Jones is able to go, and
Yeah,
Fournette.
that's the question about. That's the real question of whether Jones is going to be able to go with that quad injury, and if he can go, obviously, how effective he's going to be. So
Saints are
that's
good against the run anyway, so I just think that Brady's going to step back there and probably chuck it around 40-something times. You agree with that?
yeah. I mean, if they're going to do what they have to do, and I'm not sure they're going to have as running the football is going to be too much of an option.
I don't think it's much of an option anyway. So
Yeah, and this is one that I've gone back and forth on. I've got to play on the side, but I originally liked the under here, but looking at
the
game,
indoors part helps.
yeah, yeah, that's true. I think this is a situation where Brady's going to have to throw the ball against the Saints defense and to have any kind of a shot. So I'll go with you on the over. I will change my mind. I don't often do that, Scott, but I would. I think personally, I think this total should be higher than the Chiefs game. That's just me.
I don't think it should be that high, but I think that it should be around 54. I think 52 sounds a bit low to me.
Well, like I said, and Bet Online has it at 53. So
Just saying. I think it should be around 54. It's
I
mostly
lied. It's actually gone down to 52.
yeah,
So
I
yeah,
said mostly 52. I think it should be around 53 and a half, 54. So just based on what I think, how I think this game's going to turn out. So for that reason, yeah, I'll lean to the over.
does it bother you we're fading the move?
No, not really. It's usually you see moves on home teams in these type of playoff games, and it doesn't surprise me because the home teams obviously were better in the regular season. So a lot of it's just picking favorites, but
All right. So,
I think that both offenses should have success. New Orleans' defense might be a bit overvalued because of what they did against Chicago last week. It was against Chicago. Congratulations. I think that defense looked really good. I just think Trubisky's terrible. So, that comes with the territory there, which you would know all about because you took the Saints slaying the points as your play of the day for that. And Trubisky just was handing you free money. So
yeah, just about beat us in the end, though. The one-handed catch by Jimmy Graham just about cooked us on the last play. But
well, no time left. So the beauty of the new rule in the NFL, you can just go straight to the locker room.
beautiful thing.
Yep.
Jimmy Graham knew the rule.
Yep.
He caught that ball and kept running. He
Walked right through the locker room.
He Forrest Gumped it, buddy.
Yep.
Just kept running.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good Saints defense.
I think it's good. I just think that people might look at it from last week and go, "Oh, this is an elite unit." I think it's good. I think it's top 10, but I don't think it's world buster like they thought it was last week.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, they gave up 32 to Kansas City. No shame in that. They gave up 33 to Minnesota. A little more shame there. Of course, they put 52 up against Minnesota. So again, a lot of garbage time going on there.
Yep.
Who you got for the side?
Only in Tampa. Not thrilled with it, but I don't know. Maybe it's just Brady in the playoffs, but I just don't want to bet against him.
You're gonna take Tampa money line plus 144.
I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to think if it's fully worth it, but I think Tampa's got a better shot to win the game than people make it out to be. I am aware that they were awful in the regular season against New Orleans. I didn't forget about that Sunday night game, which was probably the worst game of the year.
Ooh.
But I don't know. It's just Brady at this time of year. I just don't feel good betting against him.
All right, fair enough. All right, guys. There you have it. That is that's the Sunday edition, and it's we talked about it earlier on the other show. Probably one of my favorite weekends of the year. I love divisional weekend in the NFL. Should be you've got rid of the chaff and the first weekend, and now you're down to wheat. Should be some good games here.
I was going to say, I think it has to be the best weekend in the playoffs. I forgot to answer that question before, because next week you only have 2 games.
Right.
So, yeah, I can't really say no to having more games.
Yep, absolutely. So,
I treat it like Six Flags, where it's like more flags, more fun. It's more games, more fun. That's kind of how I view it.
Nobody ever opened up 3 flags, Scott.
Nope. You always open up more.
I told you, this is one of my favorite things in the world is the Saturday night game where you sit around, maybe order a pizza, have a couple beers, build a nice roaring fire, and watch the snow fly.
Unless you're the person who lives across the street from Scott Steen over here who's ordering pizza at 11 in the morning.
10:30.
10:30.
10:30. Yes, and I told my family. Maybe my family was astounded by the Papa John's delivery at 10:30 yesterday morning. Unbelievable. So
I'm impressed.
I am too. That is an iron constitution. I mean, everybody's gotten up and eaten cold pizza, but to have the ability and the desire to order one that early, that's just phenomenal. That's off the charts right there. That's big league stuff right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody. We appreciate you guys watching today. As always, if you're looking for more information on these games or any others, stop by and check out winnersandwhiners.com, the number one site in the world for predictive sports analysis. For myself, for Scott Reichel, that's going to do it for us. We appreciate you guys watching. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. And, good luck on all of your plays this weekend. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into cash money back at the window. You guys have a great weekend. Stay warm, everybody, and enjoy some great football, all right? And we'll be back to see you next time on Today in Sports Betting. Bye-bye.